you know, Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it pretty
Watch Johnny's bite.
You know, I've watched you. Sometimes our people disagree with you, but I mean, I understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Maybe, hey,
Why do you panic?
the way you, Papa, you know, Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Thursday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. I want to once again say thank you to Alhaji Jibril Saka in Tamale for providing the fabric, and to Sonar Fashions, always a delight to wear something from my brothers in the north, for putting this together. 0246 590 That's 0246 590 Sonar Fashions, they deliver across the world. Sonar Fashions International, they made this beautiful, beautiful one, and already people are sending the fan mails in, but that's good. This morning, let's quickly begin from the quarters of the Electoral Commission. And the Electoral Commissioner, Jean Adukwe-Mensah, had something to say regarding how the results or if you like, how the data was compiled from the registration exercise that's ongoing. Well, we spoke about extension. They were literally shut down, but now the extension has happened, and we're told that, oh, it's because of the rain, Sometimes I think that our state institutions, when the people speak, when the citizenry makes suggestions, at least you hold on and think through the suggestion, as opposed to rather saying straight away that, oh man, this cannot be done. When people make suggestions and you're a state institution, you must recognize the fact that you are not our leaders. You are indeed our servants. And servants listen. They don't dictate. They listen and they guide. And I can go back to the documents and the reforms and the suggestions that were made from the quarters of the IEA when Madam Jean Mensah was at the IEA. For all of us who have been in the media for some time and covered elections, we were amazed that, wow, this is good. I mean, why can't we run with it? There was Professor Jampo, there was Professor Bosman Asari, who today is with Madam Jean Mensah at the Electoral Commission. They were all there. They have all been given those opportunities. Oh, Professor Jampo doesn't work at the Electoral Commission. But giving the benefit, I mean, having told us from the sidelines and screamed and everything else and giving direction, now they have been put on the playing pitch and sometimes you can't find the ball. And it's a concern. Because we have not forgotten what happened in 2020, the number of times that the election results were declared. We have not forgotten, and we assume that everything is okay. This is the dress rehearsal for the big election in 2024, and already we are making mistakes and making excuses for it. To the extent that the number 2 at the Electoral Commission will tell us that the mistakes that happened were insignificant. I say, by all means, sir, think it. Don't say it. Listen to the Electoral Commissioner.
The application that I think what the commission did was to correct the figures and to inform the general public that some changes had been made within the team that were developing these data. And whilst I do not hold brief for the team, because they were relying on Coral Draw to come up with these pie charts and graphs and so on, that they were doing this manually. And so what we have done is to go back to the drawing board and use Excel. And so we may not have those colorful, graphs, and the focus should not be on that, because the application that was being used was not able to do accurate tabulations. And so you found that people had to do, they had to do it manually. So that Coral Draw has been abandoned, and an app Excel has been applied. But again, I say this, that because we are a listening commission and we intend to build trust, you come back, you let the people know what went wrong and what has been done. And I believe that even in the last statement to correct the data on one particular slide, the commission indicated that there had been changes made and more rigorous methods were being used with the collation of data. And as I mentioned, the Coral Draw that was used originally has been set aside. And so the focus is not to have the colorful infographics, but to have the data using the right applications to do the tabulation.
Madam, good morning. It doesn't lie in your mouth to tell us that you are a listening commission. The people you serve, your stakeholders, the NPP, the NDC, the CPP, the PPP, the whatever P, they will be the ones to determine whether you are a listening commission or not. That's the first point that I want to push through. It doesn't lie in your mouth to praise yourself. The people you serve, the people who are stakeholders to what you do, they are the ones to say that as for this electoral commission, they are different from the previous electoral commissions. Or if we compare what they are doing to what previous electoral commissions have done, we can say that they are an improvement of what we had in the past, or they have become more shambolic than what we had in the past. It is they who have to say that. That's the first point. Number two, I am sure that if you indeed were a listening commission, and you had tabled this proposal of using Coral Draw in 2024 at the IPAC meeting to all the IT gurus, directors of election, in that room, they would have told you that it was a bad decision to even think and contemplate using Coral Draw in today's world to tabulate figures and to compile data. Because Coral Draw is a vector software, and you just need to master the tools so that what you put in is what you get out. You master the tools for design. Who uses Coral Draw in today's? Who really does that? And you are bold enough to come. Maybe you didn't understand what you were talking about. But Coral Draw is not an intelligent software that is able to help you to do any calculation or tabulation of any sort. And you are right. We do not want the aesthetics. We do not want a situation like what we had in the past. We saw it, we liked it, and we chose it, and that's it. Charlotte said that. That's the same posture, unfortunately, I think that you had brought to the desk. Who even advised Coral Draw in the first place? And you see, you made changes to the team, which means that you introduce new faces. New faces that we pay, new faces that you source from where, we don't know. New faces affiliated to who, we don't know. New faces whose allegiances are to who, we don't know. Of course, you have independence to do what you do, but what you do affects us, so you have to be cautious. That you are using Coral Draw in today's gun, and you are even saying it publicly, that you have now abandoned the Coral Draw. And I said, who even advised you in the first place to use Coral Draw? Coral Draw, if you're a mass. Coral Draw, dear mass. Coral Draw, they take do calculation. No, see, sometimes when some of these things are said, you start thinking, when I completed secondary school in the early 2000s, that was when we went to computer school because it had become fashionable. So after JSS, BEC, I went to do software. That was when I was introduced to Coral Draw. And after secondary school, I went to do hardware. That was when I was introduced to Coral Draw. So what version of Coral Draw are you using? Coral 17 or Coral 19? Or what Coral Draw are you using? I can't believe it. You are using Coral Draw, Madam Electoral Commissioner, for such a critical election. You are using Coral Draw to do what? Hey, how much was the Coral Draw procured for? Who went to procure the Coral Draw? How much was it procured for? I think the political party should be interested and ask that question at IPAC. Coral Draw. Hey, how well? Coral Draw. Men Coral Draw. How well? Now, let's move away from this Coral Draw business and go do a little throwback. I've seen Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum do a round of Ghana. He's doing a tour. His banks, the GN Bank, that were shut down. Many reasons have been assigned to why the GN Bank was shut down. But he's going around and you see some of the facilities. I've had occasion to show you some of those facilities in the past. But give me the old the throwback thing, the Facebook post that Dr. Indum had. Just so we refresh our minds. This is what Dr. Indum thought in 2016. He tweeted this on the 15th of April, 3:51 p.m. And this is what Dr. Indum tweeted. He said, we must vote out the Mahama government and bring a leader who can create the enabling environment for businesses to grow and create jobs for our youth. We must vote out the Mahama government and bring a leader who can create the enabling environment for businesses to grow and create jobs for our youth. Then there's an extended Facebook post. Just bring that up. He put something on Facebook. And the issues that he spoke about then are still relevant in today's Ghana. A Facebook post. Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum, 22nd November 2016. So the tweet was in April, but this was in November. It says, Mahama does not deserve 4 more years. One thing I know for sure is that John Dramani Mahama does not deserve 4 more years as President of the Republic of Ghana. President Mahama and the NDC have been in power for 8 years. 8 years is long enough for anyone, any political party to demonstrate what they can do. During these 8 years, Ghanaians have become poorer. We have suffered doomsor, which has led to many companies shutting down and thousands of jobs and lives lost prematurely. The Mahama administration has left us with near epic level debt despite an unprecedented level of government revenue. Ghanaians are still vulnerable to preventable diseases such as malaria, cholera, and monocausal meningitis. The majority of our children fail to advance beyond junior high school, and at age 14, 15, and 16 years old, our children are making children, unemployed and building resentment that could one day explode in our faces. Graduates from our polytechnics, technical universities, and universities are at home, jobless. Why build huge fancy hospitals that cannot pay the nurses and doctors and not even the trainees? Why build schools when teacher trainees cannot be funded and teachers are not paid sometimes for 2 years? Why build fanciful flyovers when the rest of the roads, including the one leading to the cocoa, cashew, rice, mining, and other productive areas of the country, remain dangerous? The answer is clear. These are meant as vote-getting projects, meant to take the people's mind off their daily misery. This ploy is not working. In the 11th hour, President Mahama now realizes that the youth need jobs. He is promising 3 million new jobs. This after 8 years of our people losing jobs due to factory closings and doomsor. When a president borrows money to build factories that soon becomes dormant like the Commander Sugar Factory, it is time to send him back home. Enough is enough. As a result of their failures, the NDC and President Mahama, have resorted once again to unprecedented vote buying and use of taxpayer and donor funds to campaign. NDC surrogates are all over the country, especially in areas they considered safe. In the northern, Upper East, Upper West, Volta regions, begging the people to forgive them and give them another chance to reward them. That is a sign of a failed administration. This is not working. In all humility, I wish to ask for change. Change that the people can feel. Change of the positive type. change by making history to vote and bring the PPP led by leaders who are down to earth, practical, experienced, competent, inclusive in attitude, incorruptible to transform Ghana beyond our dreams in 4 years. This was what Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndum wrote 8 years ago. I'm sure that some people went into the voting booth or into the voting screen or behind the voting screen to cast their votes to push the NDC out. The question to Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndum this morning, and to all who supported, and I share in his pain that a bank that he grew organically, that had more branches than any other bank in this country, was just shut down, assets acquired, and things left to rot. But I'm sure he was part of the people who were clamoring for change. So this question, the simple question I asked Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndum this morning is that, did the change come? Come to me. Did the change come? The change that Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndum was asking for, did it come? The things that he spoke about as a throwback, the things that he spoke about, unemployment, all of those things, has anything changed? Will he make the same tweets and Facebook post today? Or maybe if he does, he will do it more painfully, because this was painful. The flyovers and the fanciful hospitals, etc., that we're talking about, are we using them now? Of course we are using them. Some were even saviors at the height of the COVID era, to the extent that the former Minister for Health, Kweku Agyeman-Manu, went there and lied that he did not have COVID. It took the President of the Republic to tell us that, Munjai, he has COVID. He's not resting. Those same fanciful projects are today helping. We have had year of roads, second year of roads, another year of roads. The roads are still bad, Dr. Ndum. The people want to see a certain consistency in what you wrote then in 2016. Maybe I should have added the 2020 bit. But all of that helped with the change that the people were looking for. The question I ask is, did the change come? And your premise is that 8 years is long enough for anybody to show you what they can do and to cause the change that you're asking for. The government in power has had 8 years. Are you satisfied, Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndum, with the change that you were clamoring for? 8 years. Same metrics. 8 years. These are just questions that I'm asking. Questions emanating from the post that you put up. 8 years has come. 8 years. 8 years have come and gone. Can we confidently say that the things that you spoke about then and now have been actualized? I leave it to your good judgment, sir. Our final issue for today is our friend Dr. Bonaventure Benedict Alege Bam. Say after me, Dr. Bonaventure Benedict Alege Bam. Put his picture there for me. Dr. Bonaventure Benedict Alege Bam of ICOR. You know that this man is a retiree, right? You know that their Greek ministry has asked him to go home, right? But you know that he is still there, president of the Stubborn Academy. In fact, he's the vice chancellor of the Stubborn Academy. One more time, Dr. Benedict Bonaventure Alege Bam. That's our star of the year. They say, we have sacked you. He said, you can't sack me. You don't have the moral right to sack me. Now, there's a letter from the Greek ministry put there, signed by Dr. Brian Champon. Dr. Brian Champon wrote and said that the last time this man should be in office at ICOR should be on March 7, 2024. Read the letter. It's dated the 2nd of February 2024. Recommendation and extension of retirement, 7 December, We acknowledge your letter number, dated 30th June 2023 on the above subject matter. 2. Unfortunately, we are unable to grant the board's request for a 2-year post-retirement extension for the MD's contract. 3. On the strength of the above and to ensure a seamless transition, a 3-month post-retirement contract is being granted Dr. Benedict Bonaventure Alege Bam with effect from 7 December 2023, while steps are being taken to look for a suitable replacement. That replacement has not come. You are respectfully, therefore being requested to convey this decision to Dr. Benedict Bonaventure Alege Bam. Accordingly, please accept assurances of our highest consideration. Brian Echampong, PhD, MP and Minister. Copy to board chair, Keep the letter on. You see the signatory under the thing, Mr. Brian Echampong. He's the owner of Rock City Hotel. They want to buy 6 Smith hotels. He wrote a letter in February asking that somebody should go home in March. We are in May. We are wrapping up May. 2 months and more over. The person has not gone. Instead of focusing on his work, he wants to buy hotels that do not belong to him. And once upon a time, KKD gave us an analogy. He said, in any wise home, when they are sharing food or meat, come to me. When they are sharing food or meat, right? It is the one sharing that takes the last piece. But here, we have people in government who are taking the first piece. They are sharing the thing for us, but they are taking the first piece. Dr. Brian Echampong wrote, the letter is clear, I didn't say it. This is evidence. And there's some politicians who say, oh, we are all playing politics, and they go on TV, gray-haired people, and they go and lie publicly. And they know that what they are saying is lies, but they say it anyway just to destroy people. Shameless old people. Dr. Echampong wrote, find me the payments for Dr. Aligibam. Dr. Echampong wrote, he is not focusing on his core job, which is to supervise the work of the agricultural sector. He's interested in buying hotels on prime lands. The labor unions are asking. Now the president of the republic is directing that they should go and beat labor unions. Mr. President, we don't need a direction to meet labor unions. The labor unions have spoken on our behalf and said, no, keep off. What I have been saying is that, Mr. President, you meet the unions and assure them that you have told your Minister for Agri, your cabinet minister, to keep off. That is what leadership is about. You solve the problem there and then. They should go and meet them and do what? Mr. President, please, they should go and meet them and talk about what? The people have told you, keep off. And you're asking them to go and meet you, Mr. President, please go and meet them. Like how Dr. Baumia is meeting the labor unions and explaining where they tire. Meet the labor unions. Because this is a member of your cabinet. I've showed you evidence. He wrote a letter. The letter has been poo-pooed, disrespected. The man is still in office. There's a table. ICOR has over 700,000 Ghana cedis. This year alone, I'm told that ICOR has had 5 board meetings. The year is just in the second quarter. ICOR has had 5 board meetings. And for each board meeting, almost 40,000 cedis is spent on about 8 board members. Right? They have had 5 board meetings already. The money they have generated is 790,000. Lose the super, please. 790,606 Ghana cedis, 23 pesos. Let the people see the total. Lose the super, please. 790,606 Ghana cedis, 23 pesos. It's there. This is how much money ICOR has made. Go and check the ICOR accounts and tell me how much is in the ICOR account. Sikana shi. And the money is being spent by somebody who doesn't have the locals to. Look, the farmers have written, the Water Users Association of the they have written. Give me their letter. And read the pain. They have spent money to buy their own fertilizer, their own seeds. They are now doing their own farming. Expand it for me, please. This is a letter dated the 27th of May, 2024. Navrongo, ICOR. It says to the managing director, they are referencing Dr. Aligibam because the system has failed to supervise the sector. Now, this is what the letter says. Poor irrigation water delivery. We, the Water Users Association Federation, write to express our deep concern about the poor delivery of irrigation water on the scheme. In fact, since the beginning of the season, irrigation water delivery has either been once in every week in zone upstream or once in every 2 weeks in zone downstreams. And with this poor and long irrigation intervals, farmers end up scrambling for water, and some of them would not even get the water into their plots. This insufficient and long irrigation intervals have impacted negatively on the performance of our crops. As we write to you, some of our farmers have lost their crops completely. Others also have their crops growing poorly despite the following the necessary agronomic practices. That is, from proper land preparation to sufficient application of farm inputs. The efforts by our farmers are negated as a result of poor water supply, and they can't make the investment, let alone profit. Several complaints and meetings with you to resolve the water situation has proved futile. Note, we farmers have paid annual water levies, and you own a duty to give us sufficient water for our crops, but you have failed to do so. As it stands now, how would our farmers get resources to farm come next season to be able to pay irrigation levies come next year? It's a question. The Federation is put at a tight corner. We therefore write to express our disappointment in you. Robert Kwame Aboka is the chairman of the Water Users Association. He wrote this to Aligibam. Now, I'll show you a last picture. Show me the dry canal. There's a dry canal. A very dry canal. A dry canal. And then the money that Aligibam takes home, even though he is on retirement, he's using company vehicles. And you know, if you have been to Navrongo, there's only one fuel station at Navrongo, the Total filling station. That's where he goes to take fuel. So the accountant there who signs it off, that he should be benefiting from what he's not supposed to be benefiting from. No, give me the March one. There's a March one. There's this February, money that he has chopped already. Money that he has chopped. Give me the March one, then we'll close with it. We can't find the canal. Maybe tomorrow I'll show you. We'll wrap up with that one. It's just telling you the height of indiscipline, even from our old people. And I say the young people are learning. Dr. Brian Champong, maweninko wejumahu. Maweninko wejumahu. Give me much. Look at it. So he's collecting these monies, right? 13,261 Ghana cedis, 57 pesos. He's collecting these monies, even though he's supposed to be, oh no, put it up there, put the thing up there. What are you doing in my face? 13,261.57. 57. That is what he's doing. And he's being paid this January, February, March. Now the internally generated funds, which are supposed to be used for the benefit of the farmers. You heard the farmers, you read them. Their monies have gone to waste, which means that there will be food shortage if we don't take care. The crops, the rice, and things that they plant will have problems. And we are here talking about Polugu Multipurpose Dam. We have spent $12 million. I shall protect the public purse is wasting the public purse. The purse is now missing. And there's another Aligibam who is an appointee of the regime who wrote to his predecessor that he has time, he has to leave. He is still there. And instead of the sector minister supervising the work and keeping his eye on the ball, he is busy wanting to buy Senate hotels. You see the game that is being played. Please have a good morning. Call me 055 924 27